Hello, this is RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy. Hey guys, we are doing our second gaming review, and this time is for another fighting game, and that is Tekken 7. Now, the Tekken franchise is actually the biggest fighting game franchise out there, and most people don't realize that because when we think of fighting games, especially in the US, we're thinking of Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, of the best of all time category. However, I have been with Tekken since day one in the old arcade days, playing the very first Tekken game, to Tekken 2, to Tekken 3, to Tekken Tag, all that kind of fun stuff. I still remember almost breaking my PlayStation 2 the first day I got it, playing Tekken Tag because people are cheap on this game. And that being said, with Tekken 7, it brings the ultimate fight to this family, and that is Kazuya and Heihachi Mishima finally getting their big fight. And they've had a couple of fights, obviously. The end of Tekken 1, the end of Tekken 2 was both them, and then their fight, though, has been what's driven the entire Tekken story. So if you are unfamiliar with the Tekken series, Tekken 7 is actually the perfect intro, to be honest, simply because of the fact it recaps everything. So if you did not know anything about this Tekken story, it has a story mode much akin to like the Mortal Kombat game from a few years past. Not Mortal Kombat 10, the one before that, I forgot if it was just called Mortal Kombat, or I think it was just called Mortal Kombat. But where it recaps the original story in that and kind of takes you through it, this one does as well. You learn everything from the original Tekken 1 game and how it all came to be, and then getting it to this point. So it's a really good introduction game. If you want a new fighting game, you finish with Injustice 2, and you want another really good fighting game, Tekken 7 is really good. And again, it's a great intro if you've never played a Tekken game, because the story mode, or single player mode, by the way, this is also, as you saw in the title, a single player review. What does that mean? I don't concentrate too much on multiplayer and online playing. If you were into that, that's great. What I want to see, if you buy it and you just want to play it by yourself, how is the game? And the game overall is really well off. The story mode is shorter than Injustice 2, which I already said wasn't as long as Injustice 1, I feel like. So it's still about, if you play just the story, I feel you're easily going to get through in a day, which is what I did. I got through in a day, despite how cheap of a Heihachi is. It really is, you do get your frustrations. I love, by the way, when you beat the game, you get a higher difficulty, and the difficulty clearly states, only play that this is for cool-headed players, meaning that if you're pissed off if they're being cheap, you're not going to throw your controller. I don't know, something about Tekken has always made me want to throw my controller or break it or something along those lines. I have a little bit of rage when it comes to Tekken, but it's such a love. I love these characters. You know, Kazuya was my favorite character from a long time ago. Then since Tekken 3, Jin has become my favorite character, and we get to see the story play out and finally have a ultimate battle between the two, and a special guest from Street Fighter, Akuma. And Akuma very much plays like Akuma. You get the Akuma. If you know Akuma's in any game, he plays pretty much just like it, which is interesting because I feel he can be good or not as good because of that fact. Akuma really plays, I think, more well. He's a projection fighter, you know what I mean. Fighter, basically. So he's more projectile fighter. So he's more at a distance than up close. And Tekken's a very up close game. So I think if I have anyone else at a distance, I could destroy with Akuma. But up close, I feel his moves are a little bit slower. Which, again, it depends on how you play as him. But I really liked the addition of them, and I liked in the story campaign, much like Mortal Kombat, much like Injustice, you get to play as different characters. However, you mainly stick to the Mitsuma family. You really stick mainly to their family in terms of the characters, but you do get to play as different characters besides just them. So overall, would I recommend this game for a single player? Yes, or Gamefly. I really do feel like there is lots of personalization that you can do. You can customize your characters very much so. But seeing as how the campaign I can beat in about a day, and granted, it can last longer or shorter than that, but I mean, I went through it in a day. So that's the entire campaign mode. But the arcade is fun enough, and there's so many characters at launch that you really just do have a lot of characters to learn and play with. And I would have liked to see story mode have more than that. Now, when you beat story mode, you get a secret boss battle that you get at the end that you play after story mode to kind of have a secret ending, which I kind of like. And then on top of that, you get to play as individual characters to find out what they were doing during this overarching story. And that's pretty cool. I just wish, like, most of the characters, the very first one, Jin, you play with them in one battle. And that's it. So I would have liked to see at least, okay, if you're going to do it that way, get like 3 or 4 battles as them so we can see what they went through during this storyline. Now, if someone is not really present during the storyline, or if they're from the past, I understand that. But overall, I felt like we could have had more character development, and even you don't get that in arcade mode. I don't get a story if I beat it as Jin, what his story would have been, or if he had won this tournament or whatnot. So that is one thing that I'm very curious, as I wish they would have done that. So overall, in single player mode, I feel like you can get through much of this, I feel like after a month you might not play this game. However, that's if you're not competitive, if you're not online playing, if you're not all that kind of stuff. I feel like everything I want to do, I'm going to do within the first month. And that is really, I wish it had more. I wish it had a little bit more content. I love it for a recap story, and the story itself is really good. I love it. A lot of people else called it a love letter to the Tekken series, and I really do agree with that. It really is a perfect story and how it develops. I don't want to give anything away, but it's a really good story and it sets you up for another one. So that's the one thing I'm kind of like, I wish we had gotten that other one, which would have offered another maybe half day worth of story content in this one, but we're gonna wait till Tekken 8 for that one. So yeah, I wish it would have gone a little bit longer with story mode, but the story it gave us was really good. And we got to learn a lot about characters we didn't know about, and more depth to characters we did know about. So really good as a starter game if you've never joined the Tekken franchise. You also can unlock every video from past Tekkens. So that is what I'm going to do now. That's what I'm going to spend the next couple days doing, is getting enough money, because you gain money from winning fights, winning arcade mode with different characters, all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to win all of those in order to get stuff. So that's the kind of rewarding part. And again, customization, I'm not into customizing my fighter as much, but if you like customizing your fighter, oh my god, you can customize it as much as like wrestlers in WWE or NFL play, or more even than like a Madden game. You really get to customize your character entirely, and if you're into that, you'll really love this part of this game. So that being said, that was my review for the Tekken 7 game. I played in PS4. Definitely want to know your thoughts. Are you a fan of the Tekken franchise? Do you, which is your favorite fighting game series? Is it Tekken, Mortal Kombat, or Street Fighter? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you as always for watching. This has been RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy.